is good karma. You know, if you're gonna find ways to improve, I mean, you're always looking for ways to heighten their attention in practice situations. Obviously, the wind showed up for us today, which heightens everybody's attention in a fly ball priority situation. And that's one of the elements we're really trying to challenge the players with this spring, is that, you know, if you want to play in the game, you need to work at practice. And sometimes it's done the other way. I've been guilty of it. I think anybody's put on a uniform. You know, we want to play at practice, and then we end up working the game. So what we've tried to do, not with a win today, but other situations, you know, the velocity on the machine, spiking them, maybe some movement, is make practice more challenging. You know, I use the analogy all the time because I heard it from the guy that had to do it, but there was a guy that guarded Michael Jordan all those years with the Bulls in practice. His name was Steve Kerr. And he would say, come game time, it was a day at the beach. So, you know, that's the mentality, at least the element we're trying to put. Work hard in practice so we can play when the games come.
When Andrew Lambeau came here, he came with a past and some things that had happened to him. What have you seen from him, and are you convinced that he's grown up, changed guy?
Well, time will tell. Like many of us, you know, there's a bunch with a past. And the beauty of life is when you own up to your past, you take accountability and responsibility for your past. We live in a forgiving society. Our industry's forgiving. It should be. And we've all probably been blessed a few times along the way, done things we really weren't proud of. We didn't get caught. In Andrew's case, he's owned up. He's gotten his priorities, I think, set in a much better place. He's taken accountability for his actions, and he's moving forward. And he has shown up very well for us. He has shown up very well through the mini camp last season after we acquired him. He's got the tools you want in an outfielder, you know, right field projectable guy with a bat who can run and throw. And I think he's in a very good place right now. And he's fresh. He's looking forward, just like all of us.
He has as big a personality as anybody here.
He does. He does. I kiddingly started calling him the Lambino. We started throwing that around in Hamilton last year, calling him the Hambino, and you know, maybe there was something to that as it plays out over the years. So he does. He's got an engaging personality, and you need a group of guys that have that as well. And he definitely is not afraid to lead with his chin sometimes out there, and with that personality, he also demands a lot of himself, and there's a very serious side to him as well.
I know you didn't get to see Charlie Morton pitch last year, but it's no secret he had a rough season. But have you seen indications in camp so far, knowing that it's early, that maybe he has turned it around, that he's learned some things from the way things went last year?
I don't think there's any doubt he's learned some things. Another guy that's taken ownership of poor performance, performance that wasn't major league acceptable in his eyes or anybody else. He knows his skill set. He knows what he's capable of. I think what I've encouraged by seeing from Charlie is he's honestly self-evaluated. He has visited the places where he could have done better maybe in some situations. From here on in, it's actions. It's taking the actions. And nobody raises their hand to get in that line of adversity. But this game gets you there. And it's usually the time in which you can recover from it that separates athletes as they move forward, how quick they bounce back. And Charlie's got every intention of bouncing back. He's gotten to a good place mentally. I think he's in a good place physically. Those two hand-in-hand will work to his benefit. And now it's him having the self-confidence to go out, be the pitcher he believes he can be. We all know the skill set and the velocity, and you watch some things. But to go out and compete, to get people out, to take ownership of an opportunity.
You see any young players here who can step up in leadership roles? Have you seen any of that so far in the early days?
Oh, I have, but I don't want to get out front with names right now. It's the 8th day of camp. We're in our first week. They'll move to the front. I mean, that's the beauty about situations when you're out here. When something happens, you'll see 3 or 4 guys pounce on a situation, or whether it's just picking something up or going to get something. I mean, we have a number of young players that have gone through our minor league system, and it's to the credit of Neil and of Kyle, of Doug Strange and Tyrone Brooks, the way we're growing our players up in the developmental system for the past 3 seasons. How these guys get it. And these guys are looking forward to being a part of a group of men that can put a foot down and start things new and refresh our Pirates organization, our Pirate fan base. So we've got a number of young players that fall in that category.
I may have missed this, but this morning that address that Bob gave, you guys were in there. What about the players? How did they take to the guy at the very top speaking to them? Is it good to put a face to the guy who is the decision maker?
Well, I think it is. I'm sure you're going to talk to the players and ask what their thoughts are. I would talk to the players and ask what their thoughts are. We got to finish the full day activity on the field. I do think it's good that they can put a face to a name. I do think it's good when you can hear what your chairman of the board, what your owner deems important, his vision, the steps that they've taken since he's been involved, and how we're pushing this thing forward. Bob was very clear and accurate with his message today. And I do think that the men, I know as a player, I would have appreciated hearing from the owner. It's not something that happens everywhere for whatever reason, but when it's available, he was involved, he's part of it. And his message was very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clint.
Thanks, Clint.
You're welcome.